Okay, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome to our EDU115 Facilitating Learner-Centered Teaching, a course offered by LD Woosley Bethany Colleges in Makati City. Welcome to our week 17. Yan po. We just would like to wait for our students to come in as we continue. So we have our last presentation today by Micaela. Okay, so let's just wait for a few more minutes. Hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Mga anong oras, ma'am? Kasi out ako, o lalabas ako mamayang hapon eh. Kung before lunch, kung kaya, nandito lang ako. Okay, okay. Okay, welcome. Okay, good morning, Jerry D. How are you?
Morning, sir. Okay naman po.
Okay, let's just wait for our presenter today. Then we will start. Okay, where is Emma and Micaela?
Si Ma'am Emma po, sir, na ano po, ka-chat ko lang po siya kanina po.
Ay, may
Baka
klase siya, I
magjo-join na
know.
din po siya.
Yes. Okay. But Micaela will be presenting today. By the way, we won't meet anymore on a Friday next week. But Saturday, if you're able, you could join us on our Saturday class for the final challenge. Welcome, Micaela. How are you? Yeah, let's just wait for Emma I will have some announcements, then tuloy-tuloy na tayo. So I think Emma is coming from her class, no? So it's week 17, Yahoo! Next week would be the decisive week. No, most of the submissions or exams will be for next week. For my case, it's flexible. You do it on your time upon upload of your midterm final exam. Yeah, I'll be discussing some items later, no, regarding why only now for the midterm exam. I think I have mentioned that last time, no, and I will repeat it again. So let's wait for a few minutes. Michaela, are you ready? Can you share now while waiting for Emma your slide?
Opo.
Yeah.
Magre-report na po ko.
Just your slide and then screen and then let's wait for Miss Emma para yan. Okay, so sige, at least you're ready now. I think Miss Emma will be coming anytime now. So that's revisiting. As a good looking back into these 14 psychological learner-centered principles, if they have been covered or touched by the modules 1 to 25. Ayan, welcome Ma'am Emma, how are you?
Good morning po, sir.
Okay, few announcements before Micaela will be presenting today. No? Number one, the coverage of the midterm exam. The coverage of the midterm exam is your midterm modules. What do I mean by midterm modules? So modules 7 to 18. No? So that this is the modules. No? You read that plus the problem sets for midterm. So I'll just be getting random questions from the problem sets of midterm and the modules of midterm, which is module 7 to 18. So you will be expecting at least 30 items only for midterm. So that would be the coverage of your midterm examination. Okay? Sige, let me before no. Of course, you know that already. No, I already uploaded the midterm modules on your classroom. No, so you just refer to that. Plus the review questions for midterm. So I'll be getting randomly which is appropriate for midterm modules only. I'll be selective on midterm which is appropriate for learning processes, both cognitive and behaviorist camp, as well as constructivist. No? So these are the coverage of your midterm period. So everything will be basing on those module topics about behaviorism, constructivism, and cognitivism. Okay, both for the module itself and the practice set questions, which is basically the part 2 No, the part 2 reviewer review materials. Okay? So that would be the coverage for the midterm exam. Now the final exam will be based on the final modules, no, meaning from 19 to modules 19 to 26. So this will be the last module, and the selective board related questions that we are doing, analyzing. So those are the coverage. Okay, this time this could be random. It could be at any courses. No, I mean at any topic, no, from midterm to finals in the reviewer, no, that we are actually using now. Okay, so that you will not be misled by the review. So again, midterm, focusing on the module, midterm module 7 to 18. That is behaviorism, cognitism, and constructivism. Now, both for the module and the review material uploaded on your midterm folders. That's the coverage of the midterm exam. Final exam would be the final period modules, which is 19 to 26, and a selective questions from this material that we are dealing right now. Okay? Is it clear, the coverage for midterm and finals?
Opo.
Micaela, Jerry, and
Yes po.
Emma. Okay, another question that was raised, why midterm only now? Okay, that's of course it was asked also by Micaela yesterday and other students prior. Now, the answer is that because I would impose the Plat 1 challenge on you. So Plat 1 challenge means the periodic grade, whether prelim, midterm, final, that would have Plat 1 in any of these periods will be carried onto your semester grade. Meaning, if you got Plat 1 on midterm, you got Plat 1 on my semester. Or if you got Plat 1 on the final exam, that includes all of the requirements, of course, not only exam, but the requirements of the final, you will receive Plat 1 also on your semester. Or whichever is highest among these 3 periods that will be carried on to your semester. That's why I delayed but basically, you won't get it from the prelim exam. You will get it from midterm and finals. Now, because prelim had been already computed, the major exams, you could approximate already your grades there. I told you you could approximate. But for prelim and midterm, still tentative. That's why I put it simultaneously on the same deadline, which is May 21. At least I will upload that as early as Saturday or Sunday, no, but not Monday, no. Monday is too late, but the latest date that I will upload is Saturday, so it will be tomorrow. So expect all of the pop-ups in your classroom, and as well as the announcement in your uh, messenger, no, about the uploads of your finals and midterm examination. Okay, so I open this to all courses, no, also to you, EDU115 Friday class. You could get Plat 1 if you will have Plat 1 on one of the periods. Okay, so that's my challenge. And of course, majority will be taken from the major exam, which is 40% of your grade. Assuming that you have a perfect reflective summary and other activities, no, participations, no, which I could be generous also. But the major player in getting Plat 1 is your major exam, because that is the majority of the periodical grades, which is 40%. Okay? So more or less, if you got Plat 1 in your major exams, it will have a very big bearing on your periodic grade. Okay? So whichever is the highest, or you get Plat 1 on one period, you get Plat 1 on the semester, the semestral grade. Okay, guys, any clarification about this ruling that I have?
Wala naman po.
Okay, so I may God bless you on your examination. I hope the 3 of you will get Plat 1. What do you think, guys? What do you think? Engineer Marine is too generous. No, these are hard-earned scores. No? Well, I'm generous, but the student will earn those. So it's not that I'm generous and the students have not doesn't exert any effort at all. No, they exerted much effort and they deserve what they strive for, which is excellence, of course. Primary goal is God's glory. Secondary is for our profession. For your profession, you'll be soon or later teaching, and that's for you, not for me. No, it's not even for your profession. No, but we are just channel of blessing to this institution. Okay, so I hope guys, the three of you will get plot one. What do you think? Will that be fine? But it's not automatic, no? It's up to you whether you excel on periodic exams, no? With the knowing the coverage, no? I believe, no, you could get plot one. I think. I think some of you already have plot one, no? or not so much plot one on your class records. Guys. Magandang tingnan sa transcript yun pag mag-a-apply ka, no? Oh. EDU115, plot 1. Sinong professor nito? Oh, di ba? Kasi pinaghirapan niyo naman yun. You earn that, no? You strive for it. I think you deserve your hard work. Ang tawag nga dyan, labor. No, you labor on this. Oo, yes. Siyempre naman. You need to answer kasi kung hindi mo sasagutan yung isang exam, zero ka doon. You need to answer both. Of course, I will be releasing the score simultaneously, no? No, para hindi kayo mamili doon, no? So pag natapos yun yung second exam, whichever, you take the final exam and then midterm or finals, it's up to you then. I'll just maybe you will receive a private message a week after or before regarding your grade. So we're just comparing, no? So you need to 7 days. If I will upload this afternoon or tomorrow, you'll have until May 21. That's the last day of the semester, May 21. So I still have one more day or at least a Sunday, no? If I include the Sunday, I will still have on the bracket of 6 to 7 days for both examinations. Okay? Anyway, you won't meet anymore. You use our time to take one exam and the other exam for some other time that you're free. So I'll make it available anytime except for the time that I am not anymore available. No? No, like morning devotion, I got morning devotion 6 to 7, and I'll be sleeping by 10 p.m. So I won't be able to give you the quiz code by that time. So not later than 10 a.m. If you ask the quiz code, not later than 10 p.m. Okay, as a matter of rule. Or not as early as 6 or 7 a.m. because I'm still having my morning devotion daily. So those are just the exemptions. And you could ask it now from Monday to Saturday. And the latest time, the latest time that you could ask the quiz code is 9 p.m. Saturday. Now, afterwards, I won't give anymore the quiz code, meaning you will be failing on that. Why? Because I have a 3-hour rule. If you will take the exam 9 o'clock, you will be finishing nominally by 12 midnight. So it's not anymore Saturday. So you will fail on that exam. Okay? So that would be the case. So the latest time is 9 p.m. Saturday. That's the latest time where you could ask for the quiz code. Okay, other question before with regards midterm finals and the Plat 1 challenge. Is it clear, guys? Do you have other thoughts on this?
None po.
Okay. one more thing, if you I am not so sure if you will be if you will ask to join our graduation ceremony, no? A week after your finals, no? So yeah, you could ask me the computations if you want, or if we have time. I could give you your grades already. By the time grades are computed already. So I'll be bringing my grade sheets by our graduation. No? I think the graduation will be after week 18. Okay? So thank you guys. Thank you for being my student for one semester. So really appreciate that. Though our three girls, three ladies went transferred to the Saturday class because of some conflicts of the schedule. So you are dapat talaga tatlo kayo, no? Pero ay anim, 3 plus 3 pa, no? Kaya lang ayun. But their records will be reflecting also here as part of the class. Okay? So thank you. I really appreciate your participation. It's really encouraging to know that students are really striving for excellence. Even with this platform that we have, no limited platform, there's no face-to-face, there's high technology but no sense of touch in terms of communication, in terms of uh, building relationship in the academic community. Wala tayong ganung sense masyado dahil we're still having barriers here. No? Our distance, perhaps the technology itself is a barrier, though it's more of a platform, a communicative platform for all of us. Okay? So guys, with this note, again, congratulations. I hope all of you will receive Plat 1. That's my wish. I'm really, I really would like to give the best from the student. If they deserve it, no, if you deserve, then it will be given to you. No question asked. Okay? All right? Okay ba guys? So with this, I would like to call Micaela for the final presentation, Module 26.
Sir, nakapag-opening prayer na po ba?
Ay, oo nga pala, no? Teka.
Kanina.
Hindi pa, no? Sige, let's open. I almost forgot. Because halos magkasunod yung geometry class ko eh. No? Sige, thank you for reminding. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity where we could have our last lecture week 17. We have gone through many things, Lord. Learning process, knowing some things, insights from each other, looking to the presentation of each one. We learn something, Lord, that we could apply to our teaching career and ministry. And we thank you because my students have been a blessing also to me personally, where I could gain some insights from them as I would like to give them or facilitate to them these resources that we have for this course, so that this may be used not only in their classroom but eventually to their board examination and even beyond beyond license and beyond this classroom. And we thank you, Lord. We honor you because you are the one that's providing this. You have been generous to us, Lord, and we're just reflecting your generosity and kindness to each one of us. We thank you and we bless this final presentation even as we have review sessions afterwards. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, thank you so much. Micaela, it's now your turn.
Okay po. So, good morning. Bago po ako mag-proceed, tanong ko lang po si Ma'am Emma tsaka si Ma'am Jerry kung naka-laptop po ba kayo ngayong umaga po. If naka-laptop po kayo. Si Ma'am Jerry naka-phone, tapos si Ma'am Emma naka-desktop. Okay po, sige. Kasi mamaya po, sa report ko po, magkakaroon tayo ng parang interactive. So, magkakaroon po ng Jamboard. So, kung makakalipat po kayo sa desktop, ayun po, or maging standby lang po sa desktop para po makapag-participate po tayo sa mamaya. Ayan. Okay, so ayan. Good. Ayan. Sige po. Thank you, Ate Jella. Pero kung hindi po kaya, okay lang naman po. I can, magagawa naman po ng paraan. Okay, so good morning po ulit sa ating lahat. So ang last module natin for this semester is this one, yung revisiting the 14 learner-centered psychological principles. So na-discuss po itong mga principles na ito nung module 2, pero hindi ko po sure kung wala po yata nag-report sa ating tatlo neto. So babalikan po natin din siya isa-isa ngayon. And i-relate po natin siya sa mga modules po na na-discuss natin from module 1 to 26. Okay, so yan. So meron po ako ipapakitang picture sa inyo. Ayan. So may dalawang words po na nakikita dyan. Ano po kaya yung dalawang words na yon na nakikita po ninyo? So kindly chat po or unmute and say in your pakisabi po kung ano po yung nakikita niyong 2 words po sa picture na nakikita natin. Ayan, so kay Ma'am Emma po, teach tapos yung learn. Same rin po ba kay Ma'am Jeril na yun din po ba ang nakita ninyo? Ayan, so I think yun din po ang nakita ninyo kasi yun din po ang nakita ko. Ayan, teach and learn. So, ayan. So sa tingin niyo po, what relationship does the clip art show about these 2 words? Sa tingin niyo po through these pictures, ano po kung relationship ang sinusubukan niyang ipakita sa atin? Ayan, so unahin po natin si Ma'am Emma. So sa tingin niyo po, anong relationship po yung pinapakita nung picture na ito sa dalawang salita na nakita natin, which is yung teach and yung learn?
Parang ano yun, pag binaligtad, teach, learn din.
Opo.
Okay, nakatawa. Okay, relationship, syempre, as a teacher, we need to teach what should the students na dapat na matutunan. Okay, so, magkaano talaga siya? Related yun po.
Nagka-connect po talaga.
Connect, opo.
Si Ma'am Jeril po kaya, ano po ang naisip niyo na relationship between the 2 words na teach and learn? Tsaka, pwede niyo rin po siya i-relate sa'yo as having the role of a teacher. Ayan. So, ano po kaya? Para po kay Ma'am Jeril, yung relationship ng 2 words, tas yung message yung nakita mo as a teacher someday.
Rinig po.
Opo, rinig siya.
Okay po. So, sa akin po, ang relationship po nito ay when we teach, kasama po talaga nun yung may ma-learn or matutuhan po yung ating estudyante. So, ito pong dalawang ito, hindi talaga sila mapaghihiwalay. Kumbaga, if we teach, we should aim for the learning of our students na hindi lang tayo basta magturo, kundi dapat may outcome yung ating pagtuturo sa kanila.
Ayan, tama. So, dapat may outcome, hindi lang basta turo ng turo. Ayan. So, sa akin naman po, ang nakikita ko po sa picture na to, yung learn kasi para siyang rineflect, no? So, para siyang may tubig sa ilalim or may salamin. So, yung teach na word sa taas is nung na-reflect siya sa baba. Para siyang learn. So, naging learn siya. So, para sa akin, what you teach is a reflection of what you have learned. So, bilang teacher, ang tanging may tuturo mo lang is yung alam mo or yung natutunan mo na. So, yun naman yung para sa akin. So, tayo rin as teachers, parang tayo mismo, kailangan natututo rin tayo or nag-aaral din po tayo para makapag-teach, makapagturo tayo ng effectively. Ayun. So, thank you po sa inyong participation. Ayan. So, dako na po tayo sa introduction. So, ayan. Facilitating learning should be firmly anchored on the 14 learner-centered principles. So mamaya pa makikita natin ano-ano yung 14 learner-centered principles na iyon. Yan. So these principles espouse that everyone in the community is a learner, not just a student. So hindi lang sila yung, kumbaga pagka-student kasi parang ano lang siya status, ganun. Pero kung learner, it is an active process or it is someone na merong ginagawa. Learner. Kaya nga, di ba, pag dinugtong mo yung sa English, di ba, pag nagdugtong ka ng suffix na ER, so yung learn, di ba? Ayan. Dinugtong mo yung ER, ibig sabihin, it is someone who learns. So, learner. So, everyone, nakalagay, no? Everyone in the community. So, kasama tayo sa community dyan, hindi lang yung mismong students natin, kundi tayo rin as teachers. Tayo rin ay matututo. All those involved in the learning process learn from one another. So, hindi lang tayo natututo sa mismong subjects na pinag-aaralan natin o tinuturo natin, kundi yung interaction natin with one another, yun yung involved din siya na paraan para tayo ay matuto. So, the clip art in the previous slide, so ito yung explanation ng module, no? Dun sa nakita nating teach and learn na clip art. It expresses the view that to teach allows you to learn, and that when you have learned well, you can teach well. So, there is mutuality in learning. So, kung ano yung naituturo mo, reflection yun ng mga natutunan mo before. So, ayan. So, ano tong, wait. Okay, sige. So, there are 3 characteristics nung, yung 14 principles. So, di ba 14 siya? So, parang na-summarize siya with this 3 or ito yung, kumbaga, in-emphasize ng mga principles na yun. Ayan. So, applying the 14 principles, Egan and Kaukak give us these 3 characteristics of learner-centered instruction. Ayan. So, number 1, learners are at the center of the learning process. So, the criticisms of direct instruction, yung traditional classroom natin, the criticisms of direct instructions have led educators to put more emphasis on the role of the student in the learning process. Many opted for a more student-centered environment as opposed to the traditional teacher-centered setup. So, nag-evolve na po yung educational system natin. So, ulit-ulit natin siyang tinuturo and na-observe na rin na nag-evolve na po ang ating educational system. Hindi na po siya traditional, kundi progressive na. Kung saan, student-centered na po yung environment ng ating classroom. So, with this type of environment, learners are given more choices. Parang sila yung mas may freedom to explore on things para sila yung makadiscover ng learning nila. So, learning activities na ginagawa natin as teachers are designed with the needs, interests, and developmental levels of the learners in foremost consideration. So, ito na po yung focus natin. Paano natin magagawang 100% conducive for learning yung bawat factors na nasa paligid ng ating mga estudyante. So, sila na yung mismong sentro. Hindi na sila yung mag-a-adjust sa atin na ano yung pinapakita natin sa kanila, ano yung tinuturo natin sa kanila, sila yung mag-a-adjust. Kundi nagbago na lahat. Paradigm shift, kumbaga, na yung students na nga yung focus, yung center ng ating learning process. Okay, so yan yung number 1. Learners being the center of the learning process. Number 2 is teacher guides students' construction of understanding. So, ayan, naging guide na lang ang teacher. Imbes na yung sinasabi ni Sir dati sa atin, yung guide on the side rather than sage on the stage. So, the 14 principles, we will discuss this later, were put together because of the growing implications of research in cognitive psychology. So teachers in learner-centered classrooms provide a lot of opportunity for the learners to actively think, figure out things, and learn on their own. So tayo na yung nagpo-provide ng way, ng opportunities, activities, assessments, teaching methods for them to learn most effectively. Hindi sila yung maghahanap para sa kanilang sarili, kundi tayo yung magpo-provide sa kanila. So, ayan, yung role na ng teacher ngayon is facilitator na siya, guide on the side, rather than a sage on the stage. So, ayan, yan yung number 2 natin. So, number 3 last sa classifications ng 14 principles, teachers teach for understanding. Sorry, hindi pala siya classification, kundi parang summary ng ano yung gustong ipunto ng 14 principles. So, last is yung ito, teachers teach for understanding, not for grades, not just for performance, but for their learners to understand the lesson na tinuturo natin. So, students are placed at the center of the learning process. So, yan yung number 1, ano? The teachers help them to take the responsibility for learning. So, hindi natin sila iniiwan, kundi tinutulungan natin sila na matuto sa sarili nila through the opportunities na binibigay natin sa kanila. So, as a result, students, through their own active search and experimentation, experience a movement from confusion to searching for answers, to discovery, and finally, to understanding. So, sila pa rin, responsible pa rin sila sa learning na ginagawa nila. Pero, tayo as teachers, tayo yung responsible naman na yung environment na kung saan sila natututo is 100% conducive for learning. So, even yung teaching methods natin na, ayun, na most effective way para sila ay matuto. Okay? So now, let's go back and briefly discuss these 14 principles. So na-elaborate po siya ng module 2. So papasadahan ko na lang po ito, no, bawat isa. Ayan. So kahit po ako parang hindi ko rin siya ganun naalala na parang nag-dive deep tayo rito. So ayan. So if you have time, you can, and if you have the copy of the module 2, pwede nyo po siyang buksan habang dinidiscuss natin ito isa-isa. So I will just be, kumbaga, giving you the main idea of every principle. So 14 ito, no? So kaya natin yan, isa-isa. Ayan. So, number 1, the nature of the learning process. So sabi dito, the learning of complex subject matter is most effective when it is an intentional process of constructing meaning from information and experience. So, nature of the learning process, basically it must be intentional. Yan. So, hindi lang siya basta bigay lang or passive, di ba? Dati, ang classroom natin is passive lang. So, ngayon, ang nature ng learning process natin is active na siya, intentional. Yan. Yung way of teaching natin and yung way of learning nila. Kasi nga, mas involved na sila. They themselves involve themselves in the learning process. So, yun yung number 1. Number 2, goals of learning process. So, what is the goal ng learning process? Yan. The successful learner over time and with support and instructional guidance can create meaningful, yan. So, ang keyword natin dito is meaningful, coherent representations of knowledge. So, ang goal ng learning process natin ngayon is meaningful learning. So, yan yung pangalawa natin. Yun ang goal, meaningful learning. Okay po? So, number 3, construction of knowledge. Ayan, construction. So, di ba, pag sa mga building, ganyan, construction yung term na ginagamit. So, kumbaga, may sinusundan niya na blueprint or may methods, anong unahin, ano yung factors na kailangan i-take into account, and ano yung mga fundamentals, 'di ba? Sa mga construction sites, ang inuuna is yung foundation, 'di ba? Tapos yung mga poste, mga haligi, tapos sunod-sunod na 'yan, susunod na floor and then susunod na floor. So, ganun din sa construction of knowledge. So, sabi dito, The successful learner can link new information with existing knowledge in meaningful ways. So, dito sa construction of knowledge, pinapakita na lahat ng pinag-aaralan ng students natin is linked to one another and they are connected to one another in meaningful ways. Kagaya nung sa building, hindi pwedeng may nakahiwalay na poste o meron dyang nakatenga lang na isa or ayan, everything in a building is linked to one another. So, ganun din sa knowledge o sa mga bagay na natututunan nila. Okay? So, number 4 is strategic thinking. Ayan, number 4 is strategic thinking. So, the successful learner can create and use a repertoire of thinking and reasoning strategies to achieve complex learning goals. So, dahil nga dumadami yung mga bagay na natututunan nila and nakikita nila na connected sila sa isa't isa, they need to strategize kung paano nila makonect yung mga natututunan nila. So, lumalawak yung understanding nila about our subjects and topics na naituturo sa kanila, even sa school as a whole, and nagiging complex siya. So, sila na mismo, if they want to become a successful learner, sila yung gagawa ng mga strategies. Kung paano nila iisipin, kung paano nila i-connect yung mga bagay-bagay. So, yun. Yung number 4, strategic thinking. Next is number 5, yung thinking about thinking or yung tinuro sa atin nung senior high, which is yung critical thinking. So, higher order strategies for selecting and monitoring mental operations facilitate creative and critical thinking. So, paano ba, ano ibig sabihin ng critical thinking? So, base sa mga naituro sa akin nung high school, ayun nga, thinking about thinking na yung mga practical applications niya, ganyan. Yung, kumbaga, ayun, critical thinking. Di ba madalas naririnig natin siya na you need to think critically. Hindi ka lang basta passive or hindi ka lang basta tanggap ng tanggap, kundi ikaw mismo, you will find the application sa mga bagay-bagay na natututunan mo. And bakit siya tinuro? Bakit ko ito naiisip? Yung mga ganong bagay. So, yun yung critical thinking or thinking about thinking. So, ayan. Hindi lang sila, yung mga tayo as learners, hindi lang tayo tanggap ng tanggap. Kundi, pinaprocess natin in our minds yung mga bagay na naituro sa atin. And number 6 is context of learning. So, sabi dito, learning is influenced by environmental factors, including culture, technology, and instructional practices. So, yung learning mismo natin is, ayun, kasama yung environment natin, yung culture natin, at tayo, mga Pilipino, and meron ding ibang cultures dyan, like Indian, American, and so on. Kasama siya, yun yung context of learning. So, mapapansin natin na, di ba, napag-aralan natin sa isang subject natin, yung kay Ma'am April, yung iba't ibang klase ng learning institutions from each country, kung naalala niyo po siya. So, nakita natin na iba-iba. Meron sa kanila yung mga hindi required ang degree, or meron ding iba na inuuna yung values, di ba, kagaya nung sa Japan. So, kung makikita natin yung kultura ng Japan is talagang binavalue nila yung kultura nila and yung mga beliefs nila na mas mahalaga yung, kumbaga, attitude, yung character ng tao kaysa sa output na napoproduce niya. So, doon pa lang, yung context of learning na yun, yung culture nila na yun, yung honoring their parents, ayan, basta yung kultura mismo nung sa Japan, tingnan natin, naapektuhan or doon pinagbasihan yung educational system na meron sila. So, kasama yun sa learner-centered principles natin, yung context of learning. Yung environment na meron sila, yung technology na meron sila, and yung instructional practices. So, ayan. So, lahat ng ito, yung 1 to 6, binracket siya or ginroup siya sa factors na tinatawag ay cognitive and metacognitive factors. So, kumbaga nakafocus siya sa mind, sa intellect ng learner, and yung metacognitive, then yan, yung factors na yan. So 1 to 6, nature of learning process, goals, construction, strategic thinking, thinking about thinking, context of learning. So nakafocus siya sa pag-iisip ng learner. So ano kaya yung mga napag-aralan natin from modules 1 to 26 na kumbaga dito siya nag-emphasize or dito siya nakafocus. So mamaya, we will reflect on it. So punta na tayo sa next numbers. So number 7, motivational and emotional influences on learning. So, ayan, sabi dito, what and how much is learned is influenced by the learner's motivation. So, anong module kaya yun? Yung motivation and learning. So, motivation to learn, in turn, is influenced by the individual's emotional states, beliefs, interests, and goals, and habits of thinking. So, mas nakafocus na siya sa emotional state ng bata, ay ng learner, yung beliefs, personal interests, personal goals, and habits of thinking. So, hindi siya na basically nakafocus sa paano mag-isip yung learner, or anong iisip ng learner, ganyan. So, nakafocus na siya sa motivation, kung ba't siya nag-aral, and yung emotional influences. So, these are also the things that we need to take account as educators. So, next is the intrinsic motivation to learn. So, narinig natin to kay Sir most of the times, no? Yung intrinsic motivation to learn, kumbaga, even without or even less of the outward motivations to learn, merong intrinsic or inward motivation to learn ang mga learners. So, the learner's creativity, higher order thinking, and natural curiosity all contribute to the motivation to learn. Intrinsic motivation is stimulated by tasks of optimal novelty and difficulty, relevant to personal interests, and providing for personal choice and control. So, kumbaga, ano yung passion ng learner? Ano yung gusto niyang matutunan? Or bakit niya gustong matutunan? So, tayo, bakit education ang pinursu natin? So, we all have our intrinsic motivation. We all have our personal beliefs or personal goals. Bakit natin pinag-aaralan yung isang bagay? Or bakit tayo mismo, bakit tayo nag-pursue ng education? So, we have our own intrinsic motivations or intrinsic goals. So, kasama yan dito sa 14 learner-centered principles. Okay? So, next, number 9, effects of motivation on effort. Effects of motivation on effort. So, acquisition of complex knowledge and skills requires extended learners' effort and guided practice. Without learners' motivation to learn, the willingness to exert this effort is unlikely without coercion. So, pinakita dyan na ang motivation is, kumbaga, directly proportional sa effort niya para matuto. So, kailangan i-take into account yung motivation, yung reason behind nung bakit kailangan niyang matutunan or bakit gusto niyang matutunan yung isang bagay. Kasi pag maganda yung motivation niya or positive yung motivation, mag-e-exert siya ng effort, di ba? So, kung tayo mismo, we have our motivation na I want to be a teacher, kunwari as Christians, kasi we believe that it is our calling from the Lord. So, nag-exert tayo ng effort. So, yun yung effect ng motivation na gusto nating sundin yung kalooban ng Panginoon sa buhay natin. Kaya tayo nag-e-effort. So, yan yung number 9. So, effects of motivation on effort. Okay? So, etong tatlo na ito, kinluster siya as the factors that are focused on motivational and affective. So, nung una, if yung una is cognitive and metacognitive, ito is motivational and affective. So, the first 6 can be related to the mind or, the thinking mind, the intellectual mind. Ito naman, motivational and affective. More on emotions or yung soul, kumbaga. The inward person. So, dito nakafocus yung tatlong bagay na ito. Okay? So, next naman, number 10. Ayan. So, developmental influences on learning. So as individuals develop, there are different opportunities, constraints for learning. Learning is most effective when differential development within and across physical, intellectual, emotional, and social domains is taken into account. So dito naman nakafocus sa developmental influences on learning, ika nga. So, ayan, sinasabi doon sa definition na dinescribe ko na merong iba't ibang constraints or merong mga iba't ibang hadlang para maging 100% conducive for learning ang isang environment or ang isang classroom or yung environment mismo ng learner. So, pinaka-effective na paraan ng pagkatuto ng learner is kapag all aspects, yung physical, intellectual, emotional, and social domain is taken into account. So as teachers, as educators, 'di ba, pinapahalagahan din natin ito. So naituro na rin natin ito sa isa't isa, yung mga bagay na kailangan i-take into account as teachers and ano yung pwede nating gawin para yung mga factors na ito is maging conducive for learning or maging, kumbaga, under the environment na mas pinakamatututo yung ating mga estudyante. Ayan. So, number 11 is social influences on learning. So, learning is influenced by social interaction. So, ito yung constructivism, no? Yung kay Brunner. So, interpersonal relations and communication with others. So, ina-emphasize naman dito is yung social interaction is also important or is also essential sa learner-centered setting na kung how the learner interacts with the students, with teachers, with the other stakeholders in learning, may effect siya or kasama rin siya sa factors na kailangan i-take into account para maging pinakamagandang effective for learning yung isang lugar. Ayan. So itong dalawa na ito is under siya ng developmental and social factors. So kitang-kita naman, developmental and social factors. So kung yung first 6 is nakafocus sa intellect, itong next 3 is nakafocus sa inward person, ito namang next 2 is nakafocus sa surroundings niya, sa the things around the learner. Ayan. So, ayan. So, punta naman tayo sa last 3. So, yan. Individual differences in learning. So, learners have different strategies, approaches, and capabilities for learning that are a function of, nasaan ako? Wait lang. Ayan, learners have different strategies, approaches, and capabilities for learning that are a function of prior experience and heredity. So, individual differences in learning. As educators, we take into account na our students are diverse. Meron silang iba't ibang strategies for learning. Meron silang prior experience or meron silang iba't ibang family background bago sila naging estudyante natin. So, individual differences in learning. Next, learning and diversity. Sabi dito, learning is most effective when differences in learners' linguistic, cultural, and social backgrounds are taken into account. And ilabas ko na rin yung 14, yung standards and assessment. So, setting appropriately high and challenging standards and assessing the learner as well as the learning progress, including diagnostic process and outcome assessment are integral parts of the learning process. So, kung mapapansin natin, itong tatlo na ito is nakafocus sa mismong responsibility ng teachers. So, tayo as teachers, kailangan i-take into account natin yung individual differences nila, yung diversity nila from one another, and yung standards and assessments na ating ipinapakita sa kanila. So, Ito naman, itong tatlo na ito is naka-cluster siya sa individual differences factors. So, if 6, so babalikan natin. Yung first 6 is, ayan, isa-isa siya. Ayan, so nakafocus siya sa mind or yung intellectual mind. Ayan, yung second naman is motivational and effective, yung sa soul or sa inward man, nung mismong learner. Yung third is yung the surroundings. And then yung last is yung, kumbaga, yung relationship niya with other learners. So, individual differences. So, as teachers, ito yung tinitake into account natin. Yung individual differences, diversity nila, standards, and assessment. Ayan. So, kung babalikan natin itong 14 principles, mapapansin natin na talagang learner-centered siya. So, tinitake into account yung buong pagkatao. Di ba? If you remember yung napag-aralan natin sa isang course natin, ang goal ngayon ng education system natin is towards the complete man. So, kaya lahat ng factors na ito or lahat ng aspects is tinitake into account natin. Yung intellectual nila, yung affective nila, yung emotions nila, no? Tapos dito rin yung motivational niya, yung motivations niya, yung surroundings niya, and yung differences niya or diversity ng mga learners natin from one another. So, napaka-learner-centered, no? So, itong 14 principles na to, it sums up everything ng mga natutunan natin sa mga modules. So, balikan natin yung mga modules na na-discuss, no? So, isa-isahin natin sila. So, kinuha ko lang dito yung title nung modules. So, di ba meron tayong 26 modules? So, yan po yung first 9. So, wala pa yung 6 kasi wala pa akong kopya ng 6. Pero mamaya, babalikan natin siya. So, ito po yung module 2, yung learner-centered principles, na-discuss po siya, no? So, ayun. Di ko po nakuha eh. So, itatype ko na lang po mamaya. Learners with exceptionalities po. Okay. So, ayan. Naalala niyo pa po ba ano po yung mga na-report ninyo mula prelims, midterms, and finals? Ayan. So, pwede niyo po bang i-type or sabihin kung naalala niyo po ba yung modules na ni-report po ninyo? Ayan. Sige po. So, ipaproceed ko po sa next slide. So, ito yung modules 10 to 17. Ayan. Ako po, ang naalala ko, ayan, so si Ma'am Jeril is module 4. Ayan, student diversity, tama. Tapos, alam ko po si Ma'am Emma yung sa thinking and learning strategies and multiple intelligences, kung tama po yung pagkaka.
Opo, module 5. Yes po.
Ayun, module 5. So, nung prelims po, isa lang yung ni-report po natin. So, ako po, ang ni-report ko is, parang dito na yata sa midterms, no? Itong Ausubels. Meaningful and verbal learning. And yung Bruner's constructivist theory. Tapos, alam ko si Jeril, Ma'am Jeril ang nag-discuss nitong transfer of learning. Tapos, Bloom's taxonomy, I think si Ma'am Emma po, ano. And then this module 17 is hindi po natin ata na-discuss ito. Ayan. And then, ito yung 18 to 26. So, alam ko po na-discuss itong motivation or ito yata, human environmental factors affecting motivation. Tapos itong classroom climate, I think na-discuss po to ni Ma'am Emma, pati yung physical learning environment. Tama po ba? Tapos, ako na po itong module 25 to 26. Okay. So, lahat po ba ay naka-desktop po? Or si Ma'am Emma lang yung naka-desktop? Tama po ba? Si Ma'am Jerry po, nakalipat po ba kayo sa ano po, sa desktop or hindi po kinaya? Okay lang naman po kung hindi. Ayan. So, I will stop presenting. So, meron po tayong konting activity na gagawin. So, magsisend po ako ng link. So, Jamboard po siya. Saglit lang po. Tatry ko lang tong isang choose from Drive. For a while lang po. Hindi ko siya na-share. Anyway, asa na to? So, may na-send po akong link. So, kung kaya niyo po siyang ma-open and ma-access. So, I will be presenting my entire screen. So, kung makakapunta po kayo sa tawag dito, sa Jamboard, kindly open your mic po. And, ayan. Kung naka-join po kayo, kindly open your mic po and me if naka-join po kayo. If hindi man po, like si Miss Cheryl, if hindi po kinaya, pwede pong sabi. Ayan. Ay, baka mahirapan po kayo mag-open mic, no? Nagda-download pa ng app. Sige, we can wait for you. So, habang dina-download po yung app, so ang gagawin lang po natin is we will reflect back sa mga modules na na-discuss natin or mga napag-aralan natin and ika-classify natin sila. If naka-focus yung modules na yon sa mga principles na na-discuss natin. Ayan, so pag nasa website na po kayo nung Jamboard, you can click on this, yung text box. Ganyan po, no? So, if you can see on my screen na sineshare ko, pipindutin ko po yung text box and then magta-type po ko dito sa loob. Bawa, module, ganyan, module, number, so on and so on. So, we will reflect back if yung mga modules na na-discuss po natin is nakafocus po siya sa cognitive, metacognitive factors, or so 4 po na pages po yan. So, sa first po is yung cognitive and metacognitive factors, yung principles 1 to 6. So, dito po sa right side ng screen ko, yun po yung cluster, no? So, yung cognitive and metacognitive factors, ito po yung 6 principles, naka-cluster siya. So, pagdating naman po sa second, yung motivational and affective, ito yung principles na naka-cluster dyan. Yan, mamili tayo ng modules kung ano yung, kumbaga, na-discuss or naka-focus dun sa factors na yun. And then sa number 3, yung developmental and social factors. And yung last is yung individual differences and factors. So, okay lang naman po if kung uulit-ulit po yung modules, okay lang din if meron tayong mga hindi naisulat na modules. Basta po ang mahalaga if we have learned it or if naalala niyo po yung mga bagay na natutunan po natin sa modules po na yun, you can type sa ating doon sa ating Jamboard. So, okay na po ba si Ma'am Jerry? So, may nakita po akong 3 viewers. Ayan. Pares kayo, lahat kayo anonymous. So, I think kayo pong 3 ito. I'm not sure. Sana naman po kayong 3. So, ayan. So, I think I can, siguro po, iikot na lang natin. So, I will begin kung ano po yung nakikita ko na module na nakafocus po sa cognitive and metacognitive factors. So, kung wala po dito sa baba, sa nakalagay na modules discussed, kindly chat me para po i-request kung gusto niyo pa i-request, next slide ko po para makita yung ibang modules. So, ayan. So, para sa akin, yung module 1, apparently, kasama siya dito. Kasi nga, metacognition. So, cognitive and metacognitive factors. So, kasama po yung module 1 doon. So, next naman po siguro is si Ma'am Emma. So, ano po sa tingin nyo sa mga modules is nakafocus siya sa pag-iisip ng learners natin, nakafocus siya sa thinking processing or information processing ng ating mga learners. So, kahit po isa lang siguro or dalawa. Ayan, wala pong maling sagot kasi po ano siya, kumbaga reflection. Ano po yung personal ninyong take sa mga bagay na na-tackle natin. Ayan. So, nai-edit nyo po ba siya? Check ko lang po yung ano. Can edit. So, tama naman po. Editor. Ayan. So, sino po itong ano? Ayan. Kung wala po sa slides na nakikita ninyo, please ask me to proceed to the next slide para makita niyo yung ibang modules. Ayan. So, si Ma'am Emma po ba ito? So, according to Ma'am Emma, yung module 3, review of theories related to learners' development. So, I think, I think, pwede siya, no? Kasama siya. So, Ma'am Emma, bakit niyo po nailagay yung module 3 sa cognitive and metacognitive factors? Ano po yung insights na natutunan ninyo na parang kaya siya sakop sa cognitive and metacognitive factors? Yan, so wala pong maling sagot since reflection lang naman po ito, personal take natin. So okay lang naman po yan. Whatever your answer is.
Sorry po matagal Inaano ko
Okay
din
lang po.
lipat-lipat ko.
Okay lang po.
Hindi ko garong naanahan yun, pero ang pagkakaano ko pag review of theories related to the learner's development, it's about okay, yung module kasi na to, I think about about learner's development. So, parang sakop siya sa
Sa pag-iisip po nila.
sa thinking, intellectual, tsaka para maging para para ma-motivate tayo for basta hindi ko siya
Apa.
basta sakop siya sa
Okay.
thinking.
I think po I know why. I think na-discuss rin po sa theories dito po sa module 3. Meron pong na-discuss dyan about sa development ng intellectual or ng mismong pag-iisip ng bata. So, I think kasama po siya. Parang yung kay Sigmund Freud, yung yun, kung paano mag-process ng thinking yung bata. And the other factors, yung developmental stages ng bata, kasama, na-discuss, I believe, na-discuss ko po doon yung intellectual development ng mga learners natin. So, thank you very much, Ma'am Emma. So, si Ma'am Jerry po ba is okay na po ba siya? Nakapag-download na po ba kayo? So, tingnan natin yung next slide. Ayan. So, pwede po you can take from here. Sige. So, ayan. You can put 1 or 2. Ano po sa tingin nyo? Ang kasama dito.
Hindi po ako makapag-type. Na-view
sige.
ko lang po.
Sige.
Bali,
Bakit
po, yung sa akin
ako
po
na lang
yung...
mag-type for you.
Okay po. Yung sa akin po dyan, module 10 po.
Module 10. Kayo pa ba nag-report nito? Tama po ba?
Yes po.
Ayun.
Apo,
So,
yung 10.
sige po, bakit niyo po siya nailagay? Briefly. Siguro po in one line, in one sentence.
Kasi po yung information processing, yan po yung about po siya sa yun po sa pagpo-process po ng mind natin ng information. So more on cognition siya talaga. And
Tama.
yung kino-compare po yung work ng isang computer on how our mind or our brain functions po in processing
Tama.
information.
Tama. Thank you po, Ma'am Jerry. Ayan. So, I think kasama rin dito yung Module 12. Ako naman nag-report nito. So, about siya sa how the past knowledge can be connected to the new knowledge or should be connected to the new knowledge. So, kasama yung Module 12 para sa akin. So, si Ma'am Emma po ulit. Or kung meron na rin pong nakita ulit si Ma'am Jerry na bago, you can open your mic. Pwede na po tayong sabay-sabay since collaborative Jamboard naman siya. So, you can open your mic or you can type directly sa ating Ayan. So, kay ma'am is yung module 5. So, thinking and learning strategies and multiple intelligences. So, tama po. I think this is correct kasi yan na nga mismo, thinking and learning strategies. And yung multiple intelligences or yung the different methods kung paano natututo yung bata or how he can process learning in the most effective way. So, I think we can have one more. So, ano pa kaya ang kasama dito sa cognitive and metacognitive factors? Ano pa kaya? I think module 15. Kasi transfer of learning.
Yes po, transfer of learning.
Ayan. So, nireport to ni Ma'am Jeril. I think transfer of learning, tama. Yung
Yes.
may pictures nung nung violin, tapos yung piano, tama ba?
Yes.
Yan. So, transfer of learning. So, cognitive siya. Yan. Sige. So, tingnan naman wala na po ba kayong ibang nakita? So, tingnan natin yung last group. So, meron kaya dito? So, para sa akin, parang wala na. So, what do you think? Meron pa kaya dito sa last cluster of modules discussed natin? Ayan. Siguro, kahit hindi natin na-discuss is yung module 18. Problem solving. Kasi problem solving eh. So, more on siya. Cognitive and metacognitive factors. Ayan. So, I think this is okay na. Or kung may nakita po kayong iba. So, module 1, metacognition. So, apparently, kasama siya. Module 3, review of theories. So, mga theories related to learner's development. So, na-discuss natin din doon yung development nung mind nung mga learners natin. Next is yung module 5 na nilagay ni Ma'am Emma, yung thinking and learning strategies and multiple intelligences. And then, module 10 na nilagay ni Ma'am Jerry, yung information processing, and then subsumption theory, module 12, transfer of learning, and yung module 18, which is yung problem solving and creativity. So I think this is okay. So nakita natin na na-discuss natin siya and kumbaga, sakop yung first 6 principles ng learner-centered principles natin. Yung nature of the learning process na kailangan intentional. So, anong module kaya yun? I think yung module 12, yan, meaningful verbal learning. And then goals of learning process, goals of learning process is maging meaningful. So, yan yun, module 12. Construction of knowledge, yung pagka-connect ng mga bagay na ituturo natin sa kanila. So, I think transfer of learning, kasama yon. And yung subsumption theory din. And then, thinking about thinking, information processing, I believe. And then yung context of learning. Ayan. Okay, so I think we can proceed na po sa next natin para we can matapos tayo. Ayan, so punta naman tayo sa motivational. So, ibaba ko lang to. Ayan, so, ano naman yung modules na nakita natin na na-discuss or nag-focus sa motivational and affective factors or yung emotional factors. Ayan, ano kayang modules? So, kindly type for Ma'am Emma kung may nakita kayong modules na ito, dito siya naka-focus sa motivational and effective factors. Kay Ma'am Jyrel naman, you can open your mic para po I can type. So, I can type for you. Ayan. So, what do you think? What do you think is related sa ating principles 7 to 9, which is motivational and effective factors? And so, in the next module ko, kung wala kayong makita dito. And, although, medyo, ano siya, no? Mapaisip talaga tayo. Sige. Ayan, ito yung last. Ayan. So, kung may nakita na po kayo, kindly type. So, I won't be, di pa muna ako magko-contribute. Kayo po muna ni Ma'am Emma tsaka po ni Ma'am Jerry. Ayan. So, what modules discussed or reported na focused po siya sa motivational and affective factors ng learning. So, kindly open your mic or type in the Jamboard. Anong modules po ang nakapag-discuss nito? So, I will give you time to think. Ayan. So, wala pong maling sagot, no? Okay lang po yan. Ayan. So, para kay ma'am, yes, of course. Module 19 itself, motivation. So, na-discuss po dyan, what is motivation? Ayan. So, I think napag-aralan po natin siya. Na-discuss din po ni Sir sa atin yan. Ano po yung motivation na tinutukoy dito? So, what else? What else? Ayan. So, sino pa yung nag-open mic?
Sa tingin ko po, yung 22 po. Report ko din po yun.
Module 22. Ayan. Ayan, tama nga naman. Human environmental factors affecting motivation. Naalala niyo po ba ano po yung nito? Kumbaga summary ng module 22 natin. Sige Ma'am Emma, you can type po. Okay, sige lang po. While Ma'am Jerry is explaining.
Yung module 22 po yung about sa mga yung nag-i-impact po sa ating sa motivation ng learners natin like teachers, parents, and then yung classmates and how they interact with each other. Yun po yung parang nagbibigay sa kanila ng motivation to go to school or otherwise not to attend their classes, yung mga ganun po.
Ayun, okay, thank you. So, tama naman po. So, ayan. So, thank you. So, si Ma'am Emma po is nag-chat siya nung module 20. So, kayo rin po ba nag-report po nito, Ma'am Emma? Yung module 20?
No po. I think si Ma'am.
Parang
Hindi po,
diniscuss namin. Apo. Sige. I think si Ma'am na-discuss po. So, maglalagay po akong isa, no? Sorry, kahit sinabi kong hindi ako Ayan, para dumami-dami. So, module 21, I think. Students' diversity in motivation. Ayan, so I think
Module,
principle number 9. Sige po, ano po yun?
23 po yung kay Ma'am Emma. Classroom
Module
climate.
23. Ayan. So, paano niyo po nasabing kasama yung module 23? Module 23. classroom climate?
I think if hindi po ako mali, ang classroom climate po kasi is about yung feeling po nung mga estudyante, that the atmosphere nung classroom po is parang welcome sila doon, and then
Mm.
it is conducive to learning, kumbaga.
Mm.
So it motivates them to learn more, or parang maging, kumbaga, having a classroom na welcoming. And yun po, pinakita po ni Ma'am Emma sa atin yung, I think kung hindi ako mali, yung pictures po ng classrooms na
Mm.
may mga hiwa-hiwala yung upuan, and then the other is tabi-tabi sila masyado. So ayun
Mm.
po, yun yung, kumbaga, nakaka-demotivate in a way siguro sa
Mm.
estudyante kapag ganun po. Na,
Okay, okay.
mhm.
Sige po, thank you. So I think nakatig-dalawa na po kayo, no? So ako na lang din po sa last. So para sa akin, Module 25 can also be included. Tama ba? Ayun. So assessment strategies that can increase motivation. Ayan. So para sa akin, yung assessment, so na-discuss natin the different kinds of assessment. Paano siya magiging less threatening and more motivating for our learners. So kasama siya, I believe. Ayan. So meron pa kaya from the previous slides? Ayan. Okay na naman po kung sakaling balikan ninyo ito and then makita nyo na itong module pala na ito kasama rin doon. It's okay. At least tayo, nakikita natin sa ngayon ano yung mga first hand or yung mga bagay na pinakatumatak din na mga nakasama siya sa factors nung sa learner-centered principles. Ayan. Okay, so I think this is okay na po. So we can proceed to the last two. So, ayan, developmental and social factors. So, ano kayang modules ang nakapag-discuss nito na naka-focus siya sa developmental factors ng students, and yung social factors ng students. Ayan. So, to save time, pwede tayong magsabay-sabay. So, pwede po akong mag-type, and Ma'am Emma also, and Ma'am Jeriel, pwede rin po kayong mag-unmute. Okay lang po kung umulit yung modules. Okay lang naman po yun. Ayan. So, para sa akin, module 3 also. Kasi naka-focus nga siya sa learner development. Ayan. So, ano yung mga bagay na challenge para sa mga learners natin sa bawat taon na dinadaanan nila. So, it is also a big factor sa pagkatuto ng ating students that we need to take into account. So, what else? Ayan. I think yung module 6 din. So, hindi ko pa nailagay dyan, no? Nakalagay dyan is yung, nakalimutan ko yung title na binigay ni sir. Parang other special needs, ganun. Personal factors. Yan, kasama rin yan, module 6. So, what else? Ano pa kaya? So, punta ako sa next slide. Ayan. Ano pa kayang modules ang nag-focus sa developmental and social factors? Ayan. Module 23. Ayan. The classroom climate. So, Ma'am Emma, bakit niyo po nasabi na module 23 po is included in this cluster?
Yung module 23 po kasi, ano din siya, about din siya sa, um, kasi yung classroom climate, nakafocus siya sa social interactions between students and teachers. And then, yun, yung develop, yung uh, student, uh, sa kanyang learning, yung social, may social, ano siya, kumbaga, kasali dun sa module na yun.
Opo.
Yung tinakal yung about sa mga social factors para nakakaano siya sa uh, anong tawag to, learning ng isang individual
Opo.
naman.
Thank you po. So, tama nga naman po, yung how we interact with other people inside the classroom. Yun yung social factors na tinutukoy ni ma'am. Okay, so what else? What else? Ano pa kaya?
Yung sa akin po yung module 22 po ulit. Tsaka yung
Module 22. Okay.
and yung sa constructivism po. May ano din po siya parang implication po sa socialization na parang learners, parang mas natututo po yung mga estudyante kapag meron silang social interaction po. Yun po yung pagkaintindi ko dun.
Opo, tamang-tama. Thank you po, Ma'am Jeriel. Na yan, constructivism is about, di ba, mas focus si Brunner sa social interaction, which is essential or crucial for the learning process ng ating students. Okay. Thank you po. Thank you for that. Ayan. So, meron pa kaya? Developmental and social factors. Mental and social factors. Ayan. Sige po, so kung wala na, I think this is enough. Ayan. So okay lang po kung balikan nyo and meron tayong makitang bagong modules na, na-discuss pala to, no problem. So at least nakita natin ngayon ito. These, na basically, na-cover natin or na, kumbaga, yung mga bagay na tutunan natin is tunay nga na naka-anchor doon sa 14 learner-centered principles. Sige, let's proceed to the last. Ayan. So, individual differences factors. Ayan. So, ako naman, kasama dito para sa akin yung Module 4, Student Diversity, no? So, what else? What else? So, I think marami-rami dito, no? Kasi nakafocus siya sa understanding that our students are diverse and different from one another. Ayan. So, sa tingin niyo po, what modules show that they are different?
I think
Ano po, ma'am?
module 5 din po siguro.
Tama. Ay, ako na po ba magta-type?
Yes
Or
po,
kayo
yes po. Ako.
Sige,
Kasi
sige.
mahirap akong lumipat sa
Okay, sige.
and then ko kaagad yung speaker.
Okay. Module 5. So, tama po. At least, kasi through this, paano niyo po, ma'am, nasabi na Module 5 is included dito po sa last?
I think po kasi we have different, diba? Kasi diba ito nakasama siya sa individual differences factor. So, included din po yung we have different styles, strategies on how to learn, think, and may iba't iba tayong yun nga, there are multiple intelligences. So,
Tama.
iba-ibang intelligence ang ina-acquire ng mga bata.
Okay, thank you so much po. Thank you so much. So, si Ma'am Jeril po, may nakita na po ba kayo from this slide? Or next slide ko po ba? For Ma'am Jeril.
Next slide na lang po.
Sige. So, before ako mag-next slide, ang nakita ko dito is yung module 3. So, di ba in-emphasize dito is yung theories related to learner's development. So, nakita natin dito na may developmental process na pinagdadaanan yung mga bata, pero iba-iba sila ng oras or iba-iba sila ng progress, years of progress. So, merong iba na late, merong iba na papaaga, ganyan. So, yun. Kaya ko naisama yung module 3 kasi they differ through those time or specific time ng development period na meron sila. Ayan. So, sinama ko lang para hindi natin siya balikan, no? So, sige po, Ma'am Jeril. Ma'am Jeril, Miss Jeril, Ate Jeril. Ayan. Teacher Jeril.
Kahit
Yan.
ano po.
Okay, sige po. So, ano pong modules ang nakita nyo pa from this slide? Nakasama dito sa individual differences factor. Sige po.
Pwede po next slide po ulit.
Sige. Next slide.
Ano po yung 21 po?
Module, ayaw mag-type. Module 21. Ayan. Tama nga naman. Students' diversity and motivation. Okay, thank you. Si Ma'am Emma po ulit. Ano po sa inyo? Nakikita niyo po nakasama dito sa ating last cluster of principles. Meron pa kaya? Ayan. If
Maano dito, 21 din yun sa akin.
21 din po.
Sa unang slide. Ayun.
Okay lang pa. Sige. So, siguro, okay na rin po siguro kasi parang ako rin po, wala na rin po ako makita sa ngayon. Siguro last is yung module 22 kasi human environmental factors. Yung iba't ibang factors na yung iba lalaki, yung iba babae, yung iba galing sa ibang bansa, yung iba indigenous people, ayan. So, then we can see na they differ. Okay? So, ayan. Sa ating activity, nakita natin sa mga modules na na-report natin or na-discussin, na-cover po, no? Na-cover yung ating 14 learner-centered principles. So, here on the right, you can see the 14 principles. So, ito po on the left. So, ayan. I will stop sharing my screen for a while and babalik po tayo sa ating sa ating presentation. So, nakita po natin na ayun nga po, lahat nung 14 learner-centered principles, na-discuss natin siya or kumbaga, na-cover natin siya sa mga modules na natutunan natin. So, nakita natin na, ayun nga po, nasabi ko na, na-covered siya na sa mga principles na na-discuss natin. So, I hope na yung mga bagay po na natutunan natin throughout this semester, may apply po natin siya, lalo na po ngayon, learner-centered na po ang ating method of teaching to become para po yung yung pagtuturo natin sa kanila is pinaka maganda. And before I end, I will give 3 short statements or quotes na pwede nating panghawakan or paalala lang. So first is keep educating yourself. So kahit tayong teachers, pag graduate na tayo from this institution, when we learn or when we teach, kumbaga, we will still learn. Learning never stops, sabi nga nila. Ayan. So, sa next quote, ang sabi dyan, life as a teacher begins the day you realize that you are always a learner. So, lagi tayong matututo. And, ayan, yung last slide natin is, who dares to teach must never cease to learn. So, isang paalala lang yan na pag tayo naging teacher na, we would still make mistakes, we would miss out some things, or meron tayong mga makakalimutan, or we would realize some things na ay hindi pa pala natin alam. So, learning never stops. Kahit teacher na tayo, we still need to be open na we still need to be open for learning. And kapag tayo patuloy lang tayong tututo, we would continuously grow. And as a teacher, mas magi-improve tayo and we would be a better teacher for our future students. Ayan. So this ends my report po. Thank you very much. Or kung sila Ma'am Emma po and si Ma'am Jerry, may gusto po ba kayong i-add? Or meron po ba kayong sariling reflections or take? Sariling understanding sa mga quotes po na ating nakita po this morning bago ko po ibalik kay Sir Marin. So, meron po ba? Or may questions po ba kayo? Ayan, kindly chat po sa ating chat box or you can unmute. Ayan, para po malinaw po sa ating lahat na kung okay na po kayo. Ayan.
Okay na po. Wala.
Okay na po. Okay, sige. Si Ma'am Jerry po ba?
Ako po, yung reflection ko po dyan ay yung tungkol po sa teachers po that yung sinasabi po ng mga teachers talaga na ang pagtuturo po is requires someone to learn continuously, that it doesn't stop na kapag nakagraduate na tayo ay tapos na yung ating learning, kundi while we are teaching, we also seek to improve pa at share ko po yung about po dun sa module 23 po, yung classroom climate, na confused ko po pala, napagbaliktad ko po sa physical siya na classroom,
Okay.
yung conducive to learning din po. Yung
Okay,
hiwa-hiwalay po yung chair. Thank you po.
Na yun is kasama din siya dun. So, it's okay. Kung saan siya pwede. Ayan. So, kung wala na po, salamat po sa participation po ninyo sa ating activity. Although tedious siya in some ways, but yan, nakita natin na meaningful yung activity po. So, thank you po kay Sir Marin po na kayo po yung naging professor namin in this subject. I know that we have other subjects. So, thank you so much po.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. This is the culminating presentation. Okay, let me share my take on the 26 modules as far as its contribution to the 14 learner-centered psychological principle. Before I award the certificate, I have problems with my guys. I have my t-shirt work again. This had happened during my first class. Well, I'm waiting for the share of the certificate. Okay, I have my take on each of the modules. Let me share my insight. For module 1, obviously is metacognition and cognition factors. So I think we agree with module 1. 2 is basically the is the review of the sporting psychological principle. So module 2 is all. So all of the content here. So that. And then we have review of theories related to learner's development. So there are intersections, no, of the factors. One is what we call the developmental and social factor. That could be one of where module 3 is related. At the same, we could also look into some cognitive development, emotional development as well. So it could carry you to pack 1, 2, 3 as well, no? Module 3. Is my audio clear, guys? I have a problem with my hardware a while. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So of course, individual different core is individual differences factors. Okay. And there are styles and multiple intelligences. Right, these are also student diversity. So there also learner with exceptionalities. So again, yung exceptionality is dalawang tingin ko dyan, yung factors 3 and 4, no? Developmental and indifference factors. So, kasi merong mga iba't ibang mga exceptionalities that we who reported module 6. Oh, wala nang nag-report no? I think those are the gap of lectures that I have. I think I cover some of which. And then, of course, how you count behavior as sorry, I failed to see the number a while ago. So, Michaela, how did you account for module 7 and 8?
Hindi po namin siya nalagay, pero nakanta sa cognitive po siya.
It's more of a behaviorist perspective. So it could be
Tsaka po effective.
well, motivation, kasi more on behaviorist to, where I'm trying to separate the behaviorism from cognition. So of course, modules 9 to 13 will account for cognitive perspective, so cognitive. But of course, there are intersections. I think on your Jamboard we have mentioned and from the cognitive perspective. And then the constructivism, problem solving activity, that of course cognitism, but creativity would vary depending on individual differences. So there must be individual difference factor. The Week's theory and successful intelligence, obviously this is cognitive. Reverse taxonomy, so this is more cognitive cognitive domain. So cognitive transfer of learning. I think Jerry, ano, no? Okay? Teka, I have trouble with my transmission. Jerry, you report this transfer of learning. Or did you categorize for the four factors? Cognitive pa rin. Yeah. And activism per se is challenge-based, so more or less still cognitive, no? But there are some intersections among other factors. Now, modules 19, 20, I have a crash lecture on this. I don't know if you recall. This more on motivation, so it's more on motivational and affective factors. Though there are intersections of other factors. Even module 22, no? So it's affecting motivation, course, classroom environment, social, emotional learning, super affective also. How about physical environment, where classify this? Again, physical environment. Yeah, so social, also classroom climate.
Yes po.
Social climate is more on developmental social factors. Physical, I'm thinking of physical because it needs also physical environment. But there needs to be social aspect of this. So, yun, doon ko tinitingnan yun. Motivational and social factors. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's how I look at that. Module 25, how will you strategize ang carriera?
Okay po namin sa motivational.
What's your tentative ba, ano? For
Motivational.
motivational pa rin kasi ano yung motivation in classroom. Of course, would also some individual differences as well. And it's concrete, so there's also cognitive aspect for as assessments concerned. Social. So there's so much developmental, but individual difference, I guess, no, there are alternative assessments. Then of course, 26 is very different of so it goes to all. So revisiting, scanning all of the modules have this 14 psychological principles. Okay. Again, guys, we completed the semester. Unfortunately, I have some learning gaps of the time constraints. I will still have my slides. Slides that I have. I will be uploading everything. No? So expect that. So let me put a page for readers, midterm modules, and no, yung problem sets for midterm only. So that's for and for the panels, modules for final exam also 1926. And this one, yung supposedly itutuloy natin, kaya I think I don't have much time in dealing with that. Okay, I'm thinking wala na tayong oras guys. I'm thinking if you have time, you join me tomorrow. Join me tomorrow kasi mag-lang kami. So gusto ko rin kasi may exposure kayo dun sa ginagawa namin review. It's more on what we're doing few items last time. But that time, we will have the entire 3 hours in doing it. So, I would invite you to for tomorrow's class. Guys, kung may time kayo table. Kasi nga I'm thinking of at least I'm engaging you to some item analysis techniques of some of our test questions relevant to the board examination and of course relevant to our topic. So I will be posting the Google group chat for by Saturday. So I could invite if you're able and available. No? If you're able and available, it's fine with me. No? So wala na time. I will push the lecture more than lunchtime already. But of course, I will maximize until 12:30. So if whatever we finish today, merong jump kasi merong konting hindi pa rin sa Saturday class ko. So kung may abutan nyo doon, mas okay pa rin. So yung 3-hour session na yun, marami kayo makukuha doon on that particular test analysis. So test analysis, I want you to develop test analysis techniques, item analysis. No? Because sometimes, whether like it or not, there are questions that really don't know the answer. Honestly, even me, as I have I'm taking the board for 3 times, one hearing, level, registered level, and professional level as an engineer, and now as a professional teacher. So I have been questions that you really don't know the answer. And the only what matters is how will you know which are not the answer. So that's the item analysis technique. Okay, tomorrow will be 7 to 10. Yeah, Ma'am Emma. So if you're able, but of course today we will continue. Ngayon, ano rin natin yung time constraint. No? Okay? So those are my announcements. Sige, open ko sa inyo yung bukas, klase ko bukas, para meron din tayong analysis for yung material dito. Yun lang, nagkakaiba-iba tayo ng time frame. Mas mabilis sila kasi mas maraming representations. Yung rotation nila ay mabilis because they are rotation of assignments have been faster for them. So, and guys, so with this, thank you, Micaela, for your summary presentation. It covers all of the modules 1 to 35. So I that I pray that you will continue principles of these courses, this course, the topics, no, with your respective classroom. So yun ang measure of effectiveness principle is when principles are being applied in your respective context and respective workplaces or even your most especially your classroom. So that's the measure of effectiveness. Of course, initiation on your cognitive affective psychomotor processes. Of course, what far more important is how you apply this and how will you utilize the principles of these courses to your own classroom. Okay? You as a teacher, facility of learner, of learning process, no? As the manager of your classroom, will be applying these principles. Okay. So in this, I would like to award this last certificate for the semester to be awarded, certificate of completion to be awarded Victoria Micaela Mabasa in Acknowledgement for Invaluable Effort in the Part Knowledge Site as a resource speaker for EDU115 seminar series on integration courses. No? So, integration with special topic on revisiting the 14 Learner Center economical principle given this third day of May 2022 in Google Meet and YouTube live stream. Congratulations. And congratulations to all of you guys. Yan. For your participation. You have a very lively participation a while ago. No? A while ago, while you're discussing, there are technical almost disconnected to the stream. So that's why I intend to turn off my camera because there are technical issues. Nevertheless, let's have our time is 31 minutes, no, to maximize our time para sa ano natin. Okay. My problem is that mobile person. I have a difficulty in all right. I have a wait lang, may emergency lang ako guys. I'm so sorry. Lang, I need to go down guys. Ano lang guys, saglit lang. Ano ba to? Ano ba to? Mahirap multitasking sa classroom guys, no? Dali, ano ba to? I'm using time. I will just be loading the quiz files. So, I'll be back guys. I'll be back. I'm still there. It's my audio here. Okay, I'll go down. Saan ba tayo? What number are we? We left? Hindi na ma-recall? I think, nangyari dito. Baka dito yun. Ito yun. Nangyari dito. Dahil lang guys ha, sorry sa ano, choke. Nacho-choke tong ano, PC ko. Oh, okay na. Alright, good. Natin ha, number 10 yata yun eh. Which one should teachers then avoid for number 10? Yung constructivist approach, no? If you would like to have a constructivist approach, so I would like to enlarge this. Okay, so what would be the best answer here? Anong i-avoid mo? Of course, reflection, yes. There's a reflection. Memorization of facts, that's wrong. Inquiry, yes. Self-directed learning, yes. So, pag ganito guys, ang technique ay add one out. You just choose the add item. Okay? So, the answer is memorization. Okay, memorization. Number 11, which material will teachers most likely use? Give me the answer. From any of you. Jerry Lee, Emma, and Michaela. Number 11. Okay? So, pag ganito guys, at di nyo alam yung masyado yung sagot, add one out technique. Add one out guys. Of course, for constructivists, there might be some reflection. Tama si Michaela, letter D. Okay? Bakit? Kasi yung facts, laws, and time-tested principles, you cannot do anything about it anymore. It's a standard. So hypothesis, we could use your reflective skills, thinking skill on your hypothesis. What would be your assumption based on the situation? Then you reflect back whether your assumption is true or not. So that's constructivism. So that is more on hypothesis, no? Hypothesis. Okay, number 12. So with this, 12 is related to 11, no? Which material will teachers most likely to avoid as far as constructivism is concerned, no? Of course, well, controversial issues could be, no, open-ended topics, problem cases. So these are relevant. We could have some reflection. No, we could have some self-directed learning, inquiry, but unquestionable laws, absolute yan. So this need to be avoided. Letter B is the answer for number 12. Okay, number 13. On which assumption is the principal's action anchored? Okay, so what you have here, students learn by personally constructing meaning from what is taught. Letter B, students construct and reconstruct meanings based on experiences. And letter 3 or number 3, students derive meaning from the meaning that teacher gives. So which would you think is an odd one out here? Jerry Lee, Emma, or Michaela? Yung add one out dyan, hindi yun yung sagot. Yun ang hindi sagot. Kasi multiple answer to eh. Multiple answer question. What do you think? Who is the most somewhat related to one another? Or somewhat, there's an item that is not, or perhaps I would say a more, salungat doon sa mga statement. Contradiction in a way, not contradiction, but in a way, contrary to the statement. So may mga ganong cases, and we should look about that. Okay, letter C for Michaela. Yes. Now, the add item there is number 3. Students derive meaning from the meaning of the teacher give. It is not constructivism. It's not reflecting or deriving meaning from what is taught. All right? So the answer is letter C, 1 and 2. Okay, number 14. What do school campus expressions from the enbariotic indicate? So I think this is a general question already. No, this is true whenever we have classmates from the barrio. So obviously, these are prevalence of ethnocentrism. So ethnocentrism. No, yung mga gantong klase ng pag-uugali or expression. No? So ethnocentrism is not the powerless of the poor, low literacy. There's wala nang binabanggit na ganun, power of the rich. Well, does not follow, but the prevalence of ethnocentrism. No, yung superior ethnic group, mas superior daw ang taga Maynila kaysa Promdi, so I don't think so. So we should walang ganong klase ng dichotomy existing in classroom. No? In fact, sa classroom you don't apply that, no? Yung ethnocentrism na kapag mayaman, may favor, pag mahirap, bahala ka na diyan. Okay, so that's okay, another item. Professor B once said we walk of developing critical thinking among students, but when they disagree with us, we get offended. To which Filipino trait? Oh, we are encouraging critical thinking, pero pag tayo naman ang if students are disagreeing with us, now sometimes for us old teachers, no, we are offended. So, bakit kaya ganun? Okay, extreme authoritarianism. It's more on the extreme authoritarianism. It's the answer. Letter C. So inquisitive of the youth, hindi naman yan. Lack of seriousness among Filipinos, I don't think so. So it's between C and D. But lack of subjectivity is more generic, no? Hindi siya bullseye doon sa tanong. So extreme authoritarianism is a better answer, okay? Okay, number 16. Between pursuing a college course where there is no demand for and a vocational course will be highly in demand, the students usually opt for college course. Which Filipino value is demonstrated? Okay, so if we'll try to look at the items here, importance of education, it's both for technical, vocational, and higher education. So regardless whether you are into technical, vocational, or higher education, both are importance of education. Kaya lang kasi pinag-aaway dito, there's an option for college course, no? Of course, the appropriate answer is letter B, penchant for the college diploma. Okay. So 17, lecture C narrates, I observed that when there is an English-speaking foreigner in class, more often than not, his classmate perceive him to be superior. Which Filipino trait does this point? Okay, I think there is an obvious answer here. So yeah, I think all of you are correct. Colonial mentality. So yeah, pag may mga kano, huwag tayong madadaan sa maputi at matangkad, girls. No, hindi lahat ng maputi at matangkad ay kalooban ng Diyos. Tandaan natin yan, ha? So number 18, to ensure that all Filipino children are functionally literate, which mechanism is meant to reach out the student who come from barangay without a school. So these are all DepEd programs. We need to select the most appropriate description for number 8. What do you think is the answer? Okay, Emma has letter A. Other takers? Okay, ang Brigada Eskwela, ito yung cooperation ng parents, alumni, and stakeholder to prepare the classroom. No, on the incoming classroom, may maglilinis dyan, mag-a-arrange ng mga upuan ng classroom, no? So that when the class comes, no? At nag-start na ng class, ready na yung class, yung eskwelahan. That is brigada eskwela. Ay, o nga pala, no? So ano ba ang sagot? Teka. 19 pala yung nababasa ko. So, yeah. Ayan, nabanggit yung brigada eskwela. Actually, yun yung sagot eh. Sagot dun sa 19, no? Bayanihan spirit, that's brigada eskwela. So ito na, multi-level classroom, multi-grade classroom, sineskwela. So a more appropriate answer is mobile teaching or mobile teacher. While teacher will go to the barangay, to the remote areas to teach, bringing the school to the community. So that's the purpose of mobile teacher. So that's the answer for 18. For 19 is brigada eskwela. Naunahan ko na, no? Pre-M ko kasi, no? So number 20, which developmental principle is not true? Okay, I won't read anymore the choices. You may, of course, meron dyan na add. Palaging dyan may add item. No? Children development is a function of environment heredity. That's true. So we're affected by our environment. Okay, so the add item there is letter D. So children develop skills and abilities in an unpredictable manner. It's always, there must be a predictable manner. That's why we have this social development theories, no, that we have learned. So these are models where we could predict the development. So they are predictable. They are different traits, yes. They are function of environment and heredity as well. Okay. So which type of parenting style is most beneficial for the development of the child? Okay, it's between authoritarian and authoritative. Permissive and uninvolved are both extremes that are wrong. Permissive and uninvolved. So you choose from authoritarian or authoritative, guys. So letter C, authoritative is correct. Okay, next. I think this is the last, no, guys. Itutuloy ko na lang yan sa Saturday class ko. Okay. Dami ko talaga. Daming ano sa ating mga iba pang mga practice of profession. Anyway, sige. Guys, this our last item. Critical in the development of self-confidence. What do you think is the answer here? Okay, so it's not in the college that you'll develop self-confidence. It's not in the high school, not even in LM. It's must be in the pre-elementary or preschool years. Okay, letter C is the correct answer. So I will continue with this tomorrow. If you are able, no, you could just drop by anytime on my Saturday class para meron din kayong ano. Then of course, I give the reviewer already, so you may consult references also, others, so that you will know the answer for those test questions. But I will be explaining, no, some analysis on the items, no, as necessary, no, for my Saturday class. Okay, once again, congratulations, guys. I hope you will have the highest score or grade that you deserve for this course. No? So just ayan, yung ating just continue your passion for teaching and ministry. I hope that this class had contribute something for your growth as a teacher. And of course, you're now on the capacity of a trainee, a student trainee, a trainee teacher. Afterwards, you will become a professional teacher. So it's my prayer that all of you will will grow and you will have your good success on your profession. Okay, once again, congratulations, guys. Hope to see you tomorrow if you're able. I would appreciate that so that you could continue to give you some tips and analysis techniques on every items that we will be encountering. No? And this, of course, will be part of our final examination. Okay, so these materials that we are using. Okay. So, sige. So, thank you guys for your time. No? I know it's a little bit late already. So, let's close in a prayer. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the semester end, for this course. I pray, Lord, for your guidance and mercy to us as we continue to serve you through this educational process. We thank you, Lord. We honor you. This is our prayer in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, thank you so much, guys. See you soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you po, sir.
Okay, bye-bye. God bless.